Right, so once again, it's been a few more days than I'd have liked to actually got to upload again. But this week's been a bit mad. I've had like my full-time hours. I've had like 10 hours coaching, and I've helped for a charity day yesterday all day. So I've really had no time to myself to film, and not as much time as I wanted to train as well. So I've asked for Sunday morning off. Now 3 hours I get out of the week have off. Now I'm not using that to lie in bed, or I'm not using that to go out and have a few drinks last night so I can have a lie and whatever. I'm up training and trying to make content for you. Like, I really want to move forward to a position where I can actually do this properly. Obviously it'd be great. And for the time being, it's that crossover where you're working a full-time job, but you're also almost doing, well, you're just doing as much as you can outside of that. Today I'm going to try and get my camera down and do a bit of commentary. I know a lot of you have said, instead of putting music over the top, just like, you know, get some commentary down so we can actually talk through what you're doing. So it's the day of squats. And the other two exercises, as you can tell, I haven't trained for a few days, so I'm not sure what, but I'm gonna look at my program, I'm gonna talk through it, and then get through to this Q&A that I'm gonna do in a minute as well. Okay, so this is the first commentary, or proper commentary, that I've done with a proper microphone. So this is now using that Rode mic that I bought rather than the camera for the last one. So hopefully you appreciate the upgrading quality here. So starting off, so this was squats, deadlift, OHP. I'll just talk you through like a few of the things I'm focusing on as I go through this. Firstly, this is just warm-up sets. Warm-up sets. I spend a lot of time on the bike into just doing the bar, straight into, you know, building the weight up, just focusing on good form, into the first set. So this is the first set, and it's going to go then to show the fifth set. So I'm up to a measly weight of 107.5 kilos for 5 sets of 5. Form is good to check back looking at this footage, because there's a few things that I picked up from first set to last. Most notably being my head position as I was squatting, especially as I was powering up. You'll notice here in the last one that I keep my head high and I keep my vision high, and it sorts about my posture, and I think the squat itself just looks a lot neater and more powerful. But I mean, this is the fifth set and this is still looks pretty strong. So squats are going really well. They've flown up from, as I said before, 95 5 sets of 5 in the first week up to 107.5 only like 2 or 3 weeks later, and that's just from the fact that I've obviously lifted a lot more than this previously, so it's adaptability or whatever you want to call it. Into deadlift. So right, I've gone from hex bar into conventional deadlift, so this is just the warm-up sets. In the thoughts of, or not really the thoughts, I'm just trying to improve my form. So I noticed when I was doing hex bar that I had a harder time actually keeping a more neutral spine, so I switched to conventional deadlifts today, and this is 140 kilos, as I said, which is not a lot considering what I've lifted previously with this lift, and it just didn't feel great, the translation from the hex bar to conventionals. I think conventionals for myself are slightly more difficult in terms of weight, so I should have dropped it down. This is 130, and again this didn't feel great, but now it just gives me a base to work on moving forward with this lift. Just briefly as well, before I finish this is a program running at the moment to put on as much muscle and strength as possible in a short space of time. Moving on throughout the winter, I'm going to also start doing Olympic lifting, so I'm going to find an Olympic lifting coach so I can then work out a program to properly prepare for next year, which is going to consist of a few phases of strength work, Olympic lifting, speed. So a good mix of all three, and just really get ready for next year and start getting the clubhead speed up towards 150 miles an hour, which I feel like it can be. So this is it for the lifting. Back into the video. Thanks for listening. You didn't really have a choice, did you? Right. Chicken. Right, in today's episode of Cooking Things in 10 Minutes Because You Have Work in an Hour is some chicken, some couscous and some mixed veg. I don't really want to, like, you know, go through this for 10 minutes because it's going to be a bit boring, but this is an easy way. Is this a cooking channel? No. So I don't care about how I eat food. So this is what I'm going to be cooking in a minute. I'm probably just going to show you afterwards, after I've cooked it. Right. So half of these chicken breast, got some Chinese stir fry, the lazy option, right? And some couscous. Just takes about 10 minutes to cook, and it's going to be like heart attack. It's like, here's what I made earlier. Just going to bring it up. Pretty much it to wait for that couscous to cook. It literally took 10 minutes. Box it up. Sorted for the day. Right, Q&A. Okay, so first question is Darian Hay Atima. So where do you see yourself 1 year from now? And I've already tried to answer this like 4 times now. It's a really hard question to kind of get your head around. You could easily just say, well, obviously a year from now I'd like to have twice as many subscribers, or I would not like to be working, I'd just like to be doing, well, working. I'd like to be working at YouTube full time. But I've learned that it's probably not best to rigidly try like push in a single direction. The reason that I've got back into this is probably because I've been kind of like bouncing around a few ideas and slowly worked out what I want to do. So I'm not just like saying, right, in a year's time I want to be here, and to get here I've got to do this. I've got a vision of what I want to do and where I want it to go, but I'm not like completely rigid in that. Now a year from now, my thoughts are, obviously I'd like to be doing this full time. I think that's slowly going to come just from the vision that I have growing this channel. So that's really all I've got in my head, is growing this channel. I know like different ideas. I know I'm probably like the only guy on YouTube in this little niche who's doing it this way, which works massively. I think if you moved in like other directions like fitness, it's like one of the most saturated markets you could have. So golf is unsaturated. A golfer that's not like golfy, I don't think there's really any others. So really it's just a case of just keep pushing forward, trying to grow the channel. All the ideas that I have slowly come in. I'm not just going to talk about them all now, but yeah, rather than being really set and rigid, just have a vision and work towards it and watch things unfold. Okay, Benjamin Male, will Tiger win another major? Yes, I'm going to put 20 quid on him to win the USPGA. I'm just going to leave it there. Bobster693. Do you have any sort of plan for growing your online profile such as YouTube and Instagram following etc? And so, do you think there's potential to make any sort of business off the back of it? So, the plan, I think YouTube is really easy to have a plan to grow. My Instagram, I've kind of gone on the thoughts of growing Instagram through YouTube. So YouTube being like the core, and then use your other avenues that will, you know, kind of like get the feed off of it. So YouTube being the main focus and Instagram being just being fed from the YouTube subscribers. But I am coming now to think that Instagram, I mean, it is the most probably, well, Instagram and YouTube being the most powerful tools I say at the moment, as well as Snapchat. I'm not really focusing on Snapchat. With everything, it's just putting out decent content, collabing with the right people, kind of like getting yourself out there. So do I think there's potential to make a business off of it? Absolutely yes. I think wherever you have a following, you have a business. It's just a way of monetizing that following. So for me, it'd just be a case of working with brands. In the future, I mean, a lot of guys bring out their own merch. I kind of want to do that in the future, but not like just cheesy printed tees and stuff. I mean, this is like a long way down the line, but I've thoughts of having my own clothing company, because I feel like there is a bit of a gap in the market for golf clothing. But for the meantime, I'm still working. I'm going to be working with a lot of brands next year, so that's exciting. So yes, there's potential, and again, it's just watching it unfold as your following grows. Right, so that's the end, guys, so thanks for watching again. I've got a course vlog, I've posted about this in the community, but I've got a course vlog set up with Gaz from Geordie Shore. Now, a lot of the Americans will have no idea who Gaz from Geordie Shore is, but it's your equivalent of like Jersey Shore if you're American. So it's kind of like one of the most well-known people from Geordie Shore, and he's a keen golfer. I think he's down to like 9. We've sorted it out. It's going to be within 2-3 weeks, so that's going to be the first of the series of this new series that I've got, which is called, well, I haven't actually named it yet, but I'm basically trying to play with as many like famous / well-known people as I can. I think another way of boosting the channel and bringing some good content, so that is coming. I'm about to go to the gym, do some mobility, and then later this week I might try and get on the course and actually film some golf content, just light-hearted stuff. But thanks for watching. Yeah, could you like this video, please?
Please.